Hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. With 4 race starts, we're going to start with our Category 4 riders, then 3, 2 and 1. Our riders lined up in yellow, that is our Category 1 riders. In green, our Category 2. In blue, Category 3 and Category 4. And look at the gap, you can just see SS having to do the chase here as Mr. X100, I think, has gone down the road. The road captain for the UAE Clan team. Look at this lineup. Ujassi, Michael Knudsen have got, and Phil Graves is coming along as well. 3 incredibly strong riders. Watch the damage it does. That group, that bunch is going to be a long line.
Just over 10 kilometres from the finish, and this is very much a mixed pack of riders now. Category 1 riders and Category 2 riders. They hit the downhill segment and they are going to see the climb to the finish very, very shortly, and that banner is going to come into sight as Simeo takes the win.
Are we going to see the rush from Safrazad behind him? It's 14 watts per kilo from Safrazad as he comes up on the wheel of Knudsen. It's going to come down to like a Knudsen respond. Safrazad rolls him on the line. Safrazad and Knudsen have just about done enough. It's a one-on-one sprint here. Saeed Safrazad leading this out. Michael Knudsen comes behind, but Saeed Safrazad comes through. He takes the win. So hello and welcome. It's Qualifier Race number 1 on the Sunday Race Club here on MyWhoosh. And we've just witnessed an amazing women's race. And when I say we, it's myself, Matt Payne. I'm here in the studios with Emma Martin. Emma, we saw some amazing action in that women's race on the Wollongong circuit, and we're back on Wollongong for the men's circuit. It's always an interesting race route that produces aggressive racing. What are your thoughts on the course?
Oh, well, the women's race today, Matt, you are quite correct, is absolutely fantastic in all 4 categories. So viewers, head over to the MyWhoosh YouTube channel and take a look, because it is well worth it. Today in the men's race, I am looking forward to this route today. So we are in Australia. We are on the Wollongong route. The men have 45 kilometres of racing today and 703 metres of elevation. Now, there are 3 Category 4 climbs. It is the same climb. They go up it 3 times. So it is 2 laps of the Wollongong city route, and then another 11.8 kilometres to the finish at the top of Mount Pleasant on the 3rd ascent. Now, Mount Pleasant itself, 2.4 kilometres in length, an average gradient of 4.5%. But you can see there's a pre-climb and a main climb. Now, the pre-climb tops at around 10%, but that main climb goes to gradients of over 17% today. And the course around Wollongong City itself is not flat. It is a continually rolling course with many short, steep climbs. Try saying that. Short, steep climbs today. In fact, the only flat section on the course is the start. So it's going to be a really interesting race today with the men.
It is, and that's the difference between the men's and the women's race. The women's race doesn't finish at the top of the mountain. It does for the men, and that does change how this is going to ride and who will feature in the racing. Our 4 categories are lined up. In yellow, it's Category 1. In green, Category 2. In blue, Category 3. And in red, it is Category 4. Our first starters, Category 4. And we run from Category 4 to Category 1 some 20 minutes later. So the riders are lined up ready to go. The first of our categories, Category 4, on the start line. They can see that clock ticking away. A huge field of starters, particularly in some of our later categories, but Category 4 never fails to keep us entertained, and it is a pack of individuals. No teams today, Emma.
No teams today in Category 4. 15 riders in our Category 4 red jersey wearing category today taking to the start line. Now 162 riders in total taking to the start sheets today across our 4 categories. So it is going to be fast and furious racing. Now Acevedo took the win in the February final last week with Suarez in 2. It's going to be interesting to see what happens today because we've got Fenati, we've got Cadabona, we've got Kamesh, we've got Molina, we've got Ramos, we've got Suarez in here and Burnett as well. So it's going to be some good racing for Category 4 today.
So our category 4 riders are lined up, ready to go. They will be our first starters away here on MyWhoosh on the Sunday Race Club qualifier number 1 for March. So the riders are ready to go. And here we are. First riders away in the men's race, category 4, kicking off from the line underneath the gantry. They go. And they're going to take the right turn and then onto the course proper with the left-hand turn. And now heading along with the short out to their left-hand side. This is where it pays to get a good start and to try and sit in with the group. But very quick riding here by Diego Arrigo, who is leading them out and is currently pushing on at a best part of 5 watts per kilo.
Yeah, this is a really fast start today, Matt, from these category 4 riders. We've seen 4.5, 5 watts per kilo coming out the start pens, and it's really stretching this group early in this race now. 45 kilometres in total, and within the first half a kilometre, we've got a gap already in this group.
We have, but I think we're going to see people come back together again. It's always tricky at the start, just getting your timing right to match everybody else's. And this start is key for all of our riders. Get into that pack, get the draft, and it's really key. So if you're joining us for the very first time on MyWhoosh, let's run through the screens for you as our Category 4 head out. Top left-hand side of your screen is the rider data. So this is the actual rider's data. The watts, so the amount of power they're producing. If it's in green, they are drafting. If it's in black, they are not. The watts per kilo, particularly important when you climb uphill. The revs or pedal cadence, as it's known in cycling, which is currently around 97, 99 revs per minute. Very good pedal cadence there. 150 beats per minute. We have 1 kilometre being approached by our riders at the moment. They've been travelling for 1 minute 38, nearly 1 minute 40, and currently travelling at 31 kilometres an hour. That's top left-hand side of your screen. Top right-hand side of your screen, you can see this is our course data and where we are on the road. So the road data, you see the map, you can see the profile, and you see that we have a kicker coming up on the base of the climb, the rider's position being indicated by the green triangle. You can see the progress along the course, currently covering 1.2k of 45 kilometers. Right hand side of your screen, that is the race detail around our featured rider in the red, and then all of the time gaps in and around. So as the group go onto the climb, you see top right hand side, that arrow just starting to move up towards that steeper step on the map on the road profile. You'll see the power increase on the top left hand side, and now the moment when the riders know that this is not flat, this is hilly, and this is the kickoff.
Yeah, so as they move into this upward gradient, it's 7.3% at the moment, but no real kick coming from the front here, no attack coming. All of the riders just pushing on the pedals a little bit stronger to ensure they stay with that group as it taps its way over this climb. So this category 4 race field moving all together, stretching slightly here. In fact, we've got one rider in trouble, it looks like, at the back here, but I'm expecting this group to all come back together again as we go over the brow of this hill.
So our riders are up and racing in category number 4. We have category number 3 waiting, as do 2 and 1. But the next category away will be the riders in blue. This is our category 3 riders. And again, a big pack of riders, but a pack full, again, of individuals. No teams. For those of you watching, team prizes come in for the finals only. During the qualifiers, it is individual prizes. And in here, any particular names that take your fancy there?
Well, we've got 18 riders on the start sheets in category 3 today. We don't have the winner of the February final, Cusimano, because Pablo Cusimano promoted to category 2 for March. So the win, I think, is up and open. So Dadson's been very aggressive in this race pack. We've seen Parisi ride strongly. Gil took 3rd place in February. 2nd place went to Valencia. So expecting some good riding and good racing from this pack today.
So category 4 out on the course, just going past the lighthouse. Category 3 are lined up in the blue. They will be chasing our category 4 riders who are in the red, but category 4 with a big distance between them and the chasers, who are lined up and are going to be heading away very shortly. So with just less than 20 seconds, we are on the rundown for our Category 3 race starters to head out from the blocks.
So we're in with Ruiz as the clock ticks down, and the power goes up as our Category 3 race is underway for the first qualifier of March today. The push is on out of the start pens, the power is down, and these riders take the turns into the course today. This flat section bringing up the speed very, very quickly. Riders now nearly at 40 kph as Manga is stretching these riders at the front here. The power is continuing to push, but shortly this group are going to sit up a little, I think, after that initial kick out of the pen. So Milano is the rider at the front of this group, but this group have settled down very, very quickly. You can see from the size of that group on the road there in the shot in front of you that this group are all together at the moment. Now Valencia is the rider now at the front, but it's such a steady pace from this Category 3 race group now. This is very different to the start we saw with the high power coming out of the start blocks from the Category 4 race earlier. In fact, you can see that Category 4 race on the right hand side of your screen. They are just under 3 kilometers down the road from this large Category 3 race pack.
So our riders underway. Category 4 right hand side, Category 3 left hand side. The first two categories. Now there's a slightly bigger gap as we go across from Category 3 to Category 2. So time to do a few quick reminders for you. My name's Matt Payne. You can follow me at Matt Fix Payne. You can follow Emma at...
You can follow me at Biking Emma on Instagram.
And we would love you to get in touch with us and let us know. If you're riding on the Sunday Race Club, jump onto social media, give us a follow, send us pictures of your pain cave, what your dog is, what kind of riding you do, your favourite mountain bike route, your best descent, the road that you like to ride most, what your pain cave used to look like, what it looks like now.
Or even the time of day you are racing to join us on the Sunday Race Club.
Indeed, silly o'clock in the morning for us, but it might not be for you. It might be the middle of the night, so we want to know. So please do get in touch with us. Make sure whilst you're online that you give MyWhoosh a follow. It's MyWhoosh on Insta, on Facebook. It's my_whoosh on Twitter. And don't forget, of course, you can do all that whilst you check out the results. Now, our riders heading for the first ascent of the course, and this is the kicker that brings them up towards the side of the ocean on land rather than on the elevated bridge. And this really is the first time for our riders to test their legs against the gradient.
Yeah, and it's a little kicker, but that little kicker goes up over 7%, and you can see that at the moment. It does tend to stretch our groups 1.5 kilometers from the start pen, but it doesn't normally, I say normally, make an impact on the race field other than maybe dropping 1 or 2 riders off of the back.
But on occasions, it has proved as a little trigger point for a certain Mr. Dadson, who is the Dadsons are known as the Attacking Dadsons. That could be a band name, you know, that is their band name, the Attacking Dadsons, because that's what they do. They're just brilliant. It really animates the racing. Cameron and Mark Dadson both really are aggressive riders. Where they choose to be aggressive may well not necessarily be the wisest move all the time, but you know what? It really, really does make life fun. And we love to see people who are going to animate the racing and to take it there, because let's face it, we don't want to just watch everybody just ride around drinking coffee all day.
No, well, let's be realistic. You know, a brave rider is a fast rider and is an exciting rider to watch. Now, whether they win all the time is neither here nor there. Making and creating the action and making and creating the race is absolutely tantamount to great viewing.
It is indeed, but of course we do want to make sure we keep up with all of the results on there, and you can do so at mywhoosh.com. Don't forget that those results are live at the moment. They will become unofficial at the end of the race, and once they are verified, as you will find with all esports, the verified result is the one that counts. So you can see the 4 screens up in front of you. Top left hand side, Category 1 waiting with just over 10 minutes to go, just over 5 minutes to go for Category 2. Top right hand side in that green, two sets of riders racing. Category 3, who are currently at 2.5, heading for 3 kilometers, and Category 4, bottom right hand side, the leaders on the road with our solo leader, Joy Kaluma, who has a gap on to the group behind, and that gap at the moment it is at 5.5 kilometers covered for Kaluma, 2.5 behind, so 3K separating the riders.
Yeah, so Kaluma pushing on at the front of this Category 4 race. Orego is the rider leading the pack behind. 5 seconds now. It's just flitting around 5 seconds for Kaluma. So Kaluma continuing to push on here. Now, this is a rolling section on our course at the moment. So it's going to be very interesting, I think. But Kaluma is continuing to tap out just over 3.5 watts per kilo. So a constant and steady pace coming off of the front for Kaluma.
So the riders well underway. Solo breakaway, 7 seconds the gap at the moment. And the riders now onto the next draggy ascent. Now, this is a long, steadily increasing gradient. I wouldn't even call it a climb particularly, but the riders will feel it because every time they go uphill, the resistance increasing on their turbo trainer and forcing them to put more power down to keep with that group and to continue to push. So just watching our riders in action at the moment in Category 4, and really interesting to see the dynamics in this race at the moment. Well strung out at the moment.
Yeah, it is indeed. Viewers, if you can take a look at the graphic on the top right-hand corner of your screen, you're going to see Kaluma is the rider off the front there, and the chasing pack behind is now splitting. The chasing pack very clearly now in 2 groups, so that push by Kaluma at the front has done some damage to this pack. Now we've got a smaller chase group here, Kant, Finati, Suarez. Then we've got 4-second gap back to Calangad as well, with Orego is in there as well. So this is getting really interesting, and Kaluma, having pushed on at the front, is causing a big split in the pack behind.
Indeed, really making the racing here, and this is why we like that aggressive racing, the aggressive riding. Now, going back, speaking of aggressive riding, guess who's on the attack? Dum-dum-pa-bum, it's Mark Dodson! What a surprise. And I'd say something else. He probably doesn't get the credit he deserves because his name isn't Dadson. It's Martinoli in there as well. Nicolo, another of our really aggressive, really regular riders on this MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, and I think really interesting to see these riders breaking up. But this course also promotes it, doesn't it, Emma? Because it is not easy anywhere.
No, this is a constantly changing gradient on this course. So as we go through Wollongong City itself, it's constantly rolling with lots of short, sharp climbs and some longer sections of gradient in there as well. So it's not just about those 3 Category 4 climbs today. It is hilly and it is constant. And as we mentioned, it's only really the 1.5 kilometres around the start line area that is actually flat. So it is a course that is good for breakaways because you can attack on a climb, you can attack on a descent, and you can go away from the group and you can stay away if you are that way inclined. So Martinoli here pushing on. Dadson is on his wheel, and then there's a gap back now to Gill and the rest of the pack in that Category 3 race.
And the Category 3 race on the left of your screens. Category 4, right-hand side of your screens. The breakaway riders just coming back together once again. Kalangad doing a lot of that work. Joshua really pushing on those pedals to bring that group and really force everyone back together. So Category 4 at 7.5 kilometers, 5 kilometers covered for Category 3. Category 2 are our next riders due to take to the race start. There are riders in those green jerseys, and as you can see, we are approaching that minute marker that will see Category 2 underway and racing on the very first of our qualifiers for March. Qualifier each week in the run-up to our finals, which is always in the last Sunday of the month. Sunday Race Club, by name and by nature. It does what it says on the tin. Right, into the last minute, and our Category 2 riders. We have 2 teams in here, the UAE Falcons and Fat and Furious, with Lopez representing Fat and Furious, Hamdan El Tanaji and Ara Methri in the UAE Falcons. Going to be interesting to see if they can take on an increasing field of individual riders.
Yeah, well, it was the Fat and Furious who won the team prize in our February finals, but 36 riders on the start sheets in category 2 today. So a huge race field. It was Lopez from Abello from Restrepo in our February final. All three of those riders on the start sheets today, but Kranich is in here. Oviedo is in here. Ospina, Simeo, Abello. There's a large number of riders in this pack.
So our riders ready to go, and off they go. Category 2 hitting the start and away. So can all 36 riders make it off in one move? As they go out from the start, they turn onto that coastline, and this is the key moment. Get in the draft, hide out of the way. Get those numbers in green on the rider screen on the top left-hand side, and you are going to be doing less work. You're not going to be working as hard as those riders on the front, and you may have something left in your legs for the big climb. So our riders clear and away in category 2. And these riders, Emma, it's a bigger pack. It will move faster.
It is a big pack, 36 riders in here. They will move fast. They're already up and over 40 kilometers per hour and less than a minute worth. Now, this flat section really does lend itself to fast-paced riding off of the start line. So Hamden is the rider leading this group out. Kranich and Abello are in the front of the pack behind. A slight gap, but a very slight gap. With that pace coming still hot on the front. You know, these riders are still pushing at around 4 watts per kilo. So a good, strong start pace today from our category 2 pack.
And Bruno Simeo in here with José Moises Balthazar right up in the mix. Cadiz up here. It is a who's who of our regulars, joined by more riders as the weeks go by. And of course, partly because we have coming up the MyWhoosh Championships with, let's say this, because we're only going to say it once, the $1 million prize fund split between the men's and women's races, and between, of course, our overall categories and the prizes for the various different categories, things like the climbs and the sprints and so on. And it's going to be really interesting to see how people get on with that. Just as we go back to our screens, just seeing Kausik just being caught at the moment by the category 3, and it's going to be Schulberg at the moment. So Frederick Schulberg leading through the riders. It's on this climbing section here. So just coming up on Hamid, a rider who figures strongly in the preceding races, in fact, in category 4, but maybe just having a slightly steadier week this week, or done a lot of training.
Well, or have taken the decision to wait for the category 3 group to catch him and then jump in.
Oh, yeah.
But we will shortly see about that. Now, let's just confirm what Matt was talking about there. You were talking about a $1 million prize pot there, Matt. It is split equally between the men's and women's race. So as always, on the Sunday Race Club, prizes there as well, equal between the men's and women's. So exactly the same prize pot for individual and for teams throughout the month in the men's and women's.
And it's great to see that we've got that equality and that parity. And of course, MyWhoosh sponsoring the men's and women's UAE teams as well. So, category 2 currently on the first climb of the day, going out from the bridge, the elevated roadway, and into town, making the way up and just going to level off. They're currently at 1.7k, 7.25, sorry, for category 3, and nearly 10k for category 4. They've got a big old gap on category 1, who are sat on our start line. And this is a huge race field. I know we've used loads of superlatives, Emma, for the size of race fields for categories 4, 3, and 2. But category 1 is massive. We have got some really strong teams and a lot of riders. Let's hit the teams first. So in our teams, the UAE Clan team, Sticky Bun Club, Ricola powered by Coach, and the next powered by Ensured team as well. And then we've got also Italian Gelato, the Belgian Waffles, the Beast Mode powered by Rose, and the Yorkshire Pudding Express teams. And a lot of individuals.
It's very true. Now, it was the UAE clan team who took the team win in the February finals, closely followed by the Belgian Waffles. But we have 93 riders on the start sheets today in Category 1.
Say, whoa, whoa, rewind. How many?
93.
93 riders in Category 1. And this is partly because they are joining into Category 1 when they're a new rider.
Yes, indeed. So under the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club rules, any new riders join in Category 1 till they've been verified to be allocated to their correct race.
Okay, so our riders lined up in Category 1, ready for our race start, ready to head away and make their way onto the course.
So we're in with Hoyas as the seconds tick down. The seconds tick down, and the Category 1 riders are away on qualifier race number 1 on the Sunday Race Club for March. So the pack move out from the start pen. It's a long pack. It's a big pack. 93 riders in this group. They are pushing on these flatlands, and the pace is moving up really high very quickly, just shy of 50 kph at the moment as this group stretch, and you can see that stretch on the top right-hand corner of your screen. This Category 1 pack. Look at that trail of riders.
Oh, it's a massive express train of riders. We're riding in with Mr. X100, who's the road captain of the UAE clan team, a rider who I've had the pleasure of riding on here almost a year ago, the first time I rode on here with Mr. X100. And good to see we've got Bruce Bird back. Bruce Bird, one of our original regular riders, and a rider who is absolutely right up there when it comes to esports and the esports championship. And the riders that just go off out of sight on the screens at the moment. This is going to be really interesting because nobody will want to take this pack all the way in, but this course is gonna break it up. Paradine's in there, Vujasin in there, Bobovic in there at the moment, Van Elst in there. Just seen Mitch Ferry come in and through. So lots of our regulars, say Safrazad, another of the regulars in there. Nicholas Sprattenbrad, who's moved up. Zach Nair in here, Zach, another of those riders. And big thank you, Zach, for getting in touch with us through the week. Don't forget, please, guys, get in touch, get hold of at Biking Emma or Matt Victor Payne, because you can then tell us a little bit about yourself if we don't already know. If you've got a huge internet presence, the odds are we're probably going to find you. Or if you're a regular star of screen and stage, or just as importantly, esports, then we're going to know about you. But what we want to know is all those inside details. So please do get in touch. Honestly, the more messages you send us, the better. It is great to hear from you, and we really love hearing about how people are getting on now. Saeed Hamdan in Category 2. They have a march on those Category 1 riders. Gotta stay in with this pack here. Hamdan chasing hard to get onto the group. The draft makes it easier to sit behind riders, just like it does out on the road. No gamification. There's no bonus button you can press to make you go quicker. This is real pedaling in real time, and that is what it's all about. That fair racing that means that the results, as you'd expect on esports, are verified afterwards. Now, Mr. X100, the rider we're riding in with in this group, going to have to be very attentive here. Now, when we first started, we had a lot fewer riders on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, and it was easier to keep an eye on all of the moves. You were less likely to get backed, to get gapped and get pushed back. What is happening now with this size of pack, you've got to stay right at the front, and everybody wants to be in the front third of the group because nobody wants to be caught the wrong side of a gap, a bit like on the road when an echelon forms. Once that gap goes, it's incredibly hard to pull that back. And with the big pack dynamics, I've been fortunate or unfortunate enough to ride in some pretty big packs over the years. It is a very different riding experience, and it's the same on esports. When you jump in with a massive pack, you have got to really switch on.
Oh, you need your eyes on stalks in a large pack, because when you're in a small group of 6 or 7 riders, you can see all the information you need on that graphic on the bottom right hand part of your screen. You can see who's in your pack, you can see what power they're putting out, you can see time distances, etc. As we see Van Elst just push on here at the front here. So Van Elst is the first rider just to stretch that group. Now, he doesn't want to be in such a large pack, not anybody does. So Van Elst Ferry, Safrazad. These are the riders working to stretch this group out a little here. We're starting to see one or two riders just dash off the back of this Category 1 pack, but it is so large. It's very easy to get swamped, and it's very easy just to miss a break or just to miss an attack if you are in such a large group. Now, we're talking about large groups. Look at the large group of Category 2 riders at the front of that pack. They are about 2.5 kilometers down the road from that Category 1 lead group, but we're in with Hamden, and Hamden is the rider pushing on, but that group is all together at the moment in that Category 2 race as well.
And Category 2 are currently still on the run in, as are Category 1 to our climb, which comes the start of the big climb, 9.5k into the course. Now, in with Bruce Bird from Canada, just tucked nicely in with this pack. He knows how to ride in a bunch, and he knows how to ride and use his energy really, really smart. He's in with Lucas Zanaska. Zanaska mixing it up in with this group, a rider who we know can climb. He's right in the mix. Nobody wants to lose touch with the group. Nobody wants to be distanced at this stage, and that pack is absolutely motoring. Now, my estimation of this pack is it's about 50 to 60 riders at the moment strong in the Category 1 leading pack. Probably nearer to the 50 marker, very difficult to tell with the speed that the riders going and the amount of snowballing over the top of each other that they are all doing. But some really big names in here. John Bruin in here. Now, he's going to be key to stay in contention. And as we come round that left-hand turn, we're going to take a check. I think that group has shrunk somewhat, though, Emma, and it looks to me like we've already shed a number of riders out of that pack. I suspect probably nearer to the 30 marker there.
Yeah, exactly there, Matt. So my quick calculation before they all snowballed over the top of each other was around 25 to 30 riders in this group at the moment. So we'll confirm that a little bit later on, but around 25 to 30 riders currently in this lead group on the Category 1 race.
Can we confirm that when I have enough fingers and toes to count them all? Because that usually makes life a little bit easier than this huge volume of riders. I'm absolutely loving the back. I mean, you've got regulars like Phil Graves, we've got Johan Norren, you can see Theme coming back in. We've got Paradians in here. We've got a few names that are new to the platform in terms of Sunday Race Club, but who are regulars in the sport, in esports, and are in mixing it up, and no doubt drawn in by the MyWhoosh Championships and the ever-improving platform. Now, latest update has recently hit, in fact, to MyWhoosh, and lots of great reports coming in about riding on with the updates and constantly evolving, which is what we love about working here with MyWhoosh and the MyWhoosh Studios, because this is one of the fast-moving platforms, and this is a fast-moving rider. Agudelo at the moment is currently trying to stay ahead of the chasing group behind him. However, he's not the fastest rider on the road, and he's in danger of getting swamped here by the leaders in Category 3. He's our Category 4 rider at the moment, just in front, currently sitting in 12th place, but you can see behind him they are queuing up, and it's Parisi, Rose and Gill who are leading the chase behind. They are at the top of the steepest slope. They're in the second part of our climb here. So the climb has two stages, stage 1 and then a descent. This is stage 2, and it is a twin peak top. And what we haven't said so far today, and we really should impress upon people before we reach the summit, is that the top of this is very knife edge, and when you go over the top, if you are distanced behind a group, if there's a gap, that gap will open. The advantages with the pack and the draft on the descent. Now, Category 2 are still on their run in towards start of the climb. You can see on the profile on the right-hand side, the first stage of the mountain coming in. On the left-hand side, you can see the green arrow. We're just going over the river on that bridgeway. We're going to drop down off there, and then we are going to make our way through that slight descending zone in towards the start of the climb proper. Behind the other side of those bumps is Category 1. They're on the left-hand side of your screen. They're approaching 6 kilometers as we see well over 8.25 kilometers covered for Category 2.
Yeah, so counting 24 riders in this lead group in the Category 2 race on the right-hand side of your screen. The Category 1 pack still large, still tapping along, just 6.1 kilometers into their race. So 2 packs rolling through the early stages of this course, Matt.
I'm really interested to see such a big pack coming through, because there's more people who can hold that pace. The pack is bigger, so there is more draft. There's more chance to stay in. It's going to be longer. So if you hit at the front of the group and you maybe are struggling, you're going to stay in the pack for a lot longer because it's just bigger as you get overtaken on the way through. But you can see the speed is really moving. The best riders in the world coming to race here on MyWhoosh, and great to see these riders in action, as well as riders who've moved the way up and through the categories. People like Spratt, who's worked his way up through those categories, coming in and through. But there are some incredibly quick riders here together with our existing riders, and some of the people who've been with us from the very start. A lot of the UAE clan team riding this from day one, including SS up on the front, and really keeping that pace high. He's got Pablo Popovic on his heels, and they are going to keep this group clear if they can continue to keep this pace moving. Popovic, a master of the momentum. He's known as Momentum Master Popovic in the commentary box for a reason, because he knows how to ride the platform. And that is the other thing. There are lots of different ways to ride it. Getting to know the correct one and how to do that efficiently is absolutely key to putting in a great performance when you're out and racing. And that doesn't always translate when you're first and new onto a platform, no matter how experienced an esports athlete you are.
That's really true, because they all have their own different technical aspects, and understanding, you talked about momentum. Understanding momentum on the MyWhoosh platform is absolutely key, and you've mentioned, the likes of Popovic, for example, absolutely got the momentum and how to use momentum dialed. We see also, particularly in the Sunday Race Club, we see riders utilise the downhill for attacks. That's one thing to really watch out for. A lot of riders think the downhills are for rests and micro rests, and often different types of racing. Riders utilise different parts of the course for different tactics. So we see lots of different things at play, and understanding all of that and understanding your competitors and how they ride, not just on the platform, but the types of attacks that come in and the types of different play is really important.
And for instance, we've got Eduardo Parisi here on the screen going on the offensive at the moment. He's towards the base of the descent. He's got 18 seconds on a chasing group. Ochoa, Dadson in there, all trying to close him down. Meanwhile, you can see different dynamics at work here, because this is the little bumpy section as we run in. We're in with Mr. X100 at the moment as they push on in towards the climb. 9.5k when we hit the base of the climb, but you can't even really focus on getting your riders to the fore on this running, because it isn't simple. It's not quite as flat perhaps as the profile would indicate, and not as flat as the screenshot, because of course, like all TV, guess what? This foreshortens it. It changes the way the gaps look, and the gradient runs as well. Currently on 0.2% ascent for the riders, 0.1, so virtually flat for category 1. They are really flying along. But category 2, well, they are on to Mount Pleasant. They're on to the very first stage. They'll soon be heading over the top, and in fact those leaders already over the top and dipping down. And Zaid Hamdan, who we've seen chase on before, is going to have to do exactly the same, and that's even harder now, because it will compress as they come into the climb. But you can see that string of riders going down, taking that right-hand sweeping turn on the way round.
Yeah, and you can see the different tactics at play here. So Hamdan was pushing on at 5 watts per kilo as he went over the top of that downhill section. We've seen other riders sitting at around 1.2, 2 watts per kilo, taking a bit of a break and a rest. Now we're seeing the riders kick back up now, because they are now moving on to the more steeper sections of this climb, but different tactics on different parts of the course.
Indeed, and you can just see Hamdan on his way in to that group. He's come down, he came in, he was doing 8 watts per kilo as they hit the base of that climb, and he's almost going to get himself back in touch. Now, the only problem with this, of course, is if you've been on the limit and been dropped, there's this wonderful phrase in racing: you drop for a reason. You are not in that group for a reason, because you can't stay with them, because otherwise why would you not stay with that group? Of course you would. So you get dropped for a reason. You then push yourself on the descent. It's kind of diminishing returns, is it? There's a point at which you just got to call it a day, but that's very hard to do.
Well, I think there's some differences here because different riders have got different strengths. So some of these riders will have fantastic 1 minute or 3 minute powers. Other riders will have really strong 20-minute powers, but not have that higher level kick over 30 seconds or a minute. Now, what you can also do on the MyWhoosh platform, and we've seen Mr. X100, for example, in the Category 1 race is an absolute proponent of this. We've seen high powers forming gaps and riders being dropped. Then we've seen the dropped rider pick their time trial pace. A rider with a good strong 20-minute power output has picked their time trial pace, and regardless of what the group at the front have done, they have just ridden their own time trial to the finishing line, often catching the group because the group are not maintaining a single pace. They are up, down, up, down, up, down on the pedals and the pace, and it allows a rider who can time trial well to catch back on.
Indeed, now we are just seeing Dadson and Rose at the moment. They are about to catch Novello. They've got a gap, so 2 chases breaking clear here in pursuit of Parisi, who's 20 seconds up the road. So it looks like Dadson being out breakaway broken at the moment by Parisi. Dadson is in pursuit with Ruiz, and as we see these riders, they are about to come past the pen, so it is going to be 1 lap complete for these riders as they come in and through when they come down through here. So they've actually done the first of their full laps complete, but remember we have got the run to the finish at the very end. Our leaders in Category 1, well, we were just seeing those about to hit the climb, and here they are. So coming up to the summit of the climb, has that group broken? Talbot was doing a lot of the work on the front there and really pushing on. Now, David Talbot, a regular rider, but not on this platform. Great to see him coming and joining us.
Yeah, and a really strong rider, Matt. You know, so Talbot's got a 20-minute power of around just shy of 6 watts per kilo. So one of those riders who can really push on, and no surprise to see him leading this group up that first segment of climb.
Yeah, a regular rider, and on esports, and a very, very strong rider as well. Now, you see the groups just fracturing behind, a little bit of a gap opening up. This is the main bunch. So this is the biggest section and the steepest part, 17% plus. This will go to, and the power is coming down here. They've got a push. You can just see those numbers of Miss X100 at the moment. It's 588, 600 plus watts here, because you've got to power your way over this 17% gradient. And look at that group. It is being fractured. It is snaking its way across the road. They are in 1s and 2s. There's not going to be much advantage to staying in the draft at 15 kilometers an hour. This is all about being able to climb and stay with that group behind. It's going to be an early shower for them if they're not careful, because I tell you something, this group, if it goes over the top, will move at pace on that descent.
Yeah, and this is where it counts. This is where the effort's got to go down, because this is where the selection for this race is going to be made. The group that goes over the top of this climb first is going to extend their lead on the downhill. So anything you have got now has got to be put through those pedals to make the catch to the front of this group.
And whereas before we have seen riders chase on to a leading pack, we are not going to see that today, I don't think, because the leading pack is going to be too big as it goes over the top. Now, Michael Knudsen pushing up on the front, a rider who we have seen really inherit Michael Vink's crown. Michael Vink being now taken in to international duty. He's been selected by his performances on MyWhoosh to go and ride, doing an amazing job. But Knudsen really hasn't I think not just inherited, I think he's stolen it, to be honest.
Well, I was about to say, I don't think he inherited it, because he actually did win one of the Sunday race clubs with Vink in the race. So it wasn't the fact that Vink stepped down that Knudsen stepped up. I think Knudsen's Project Catch Michael Vink had worked before Vink stepped away for international duty elsewhere. But it is absolutely fraught in that Category 1 field. They're not at the top of that first ascent of Mount Pleasant yet. Fawcett is in here, there. Van Elst, Paradians, Tolbert, Knudsen, Vujasin, Zanaska. It's great to see these names coming to the fore, and they are having to work to break this group. But as you said, Matt, still going to be a large group of riders who go over the top of Mount Pleasant Climb for the first time together.
And as they come over the top, they're coming up on Tom Gates now. Tom Gates is a Category 2 rider, but they're going to catch him at just the right time because he's going to have the whole of this descent to jump in with an incredibly fast-moving Category 1. And Gates is capable of this. He's got some great performance figures. We've seen him put in ride after ride, and he's going to be aware. He's a really smart rider. He's going to be aware that there is a leading Category 1 rider coming behind. This is the selection for the fastest riders of the day. He can hitch a lift on this train and he can get in there and get himself down, and he's got the opportune moment coming into this descent to do that.
Yeah, well, you're right. The timing is absolutely spectacular for this. Had it been 500 metres earlier, whilst they were still on the climb, it would have been a difficult one to catch. But this train is moving fast, and this is the train he's going to catch a lift on.
It is indeed now behind this group of riders. We're seeing a second group starting to form, but it is less riders behind the leading group. We're in with Tom Gates now. So our team behind the scenes are jumping in with him here. And they're watching him nicely absorbing himself in here. He's integrated himself in, and now this is where he needs to say, if our cameras spin round backwards, then we'll see that second group behind them, and we're going to hopefully see them whether their distance. It looks, according to our graphics, top right hand side of your screen, like it's closing down, but at the moment you can see that this is the leading group, and they are working very, very well together. They've just completed the first part of the descent. There's a little bit of a kicker here to go up and over, which is really hard because all of a sudden you go from that long descent into this 5% kick, and then you've got to push up and over. But really, if you are not in this leading group now in Category 1, you are not going to be in for the fastest time of the day. You're not going to be the rider who is going to take that top prize. Remember, big prize money for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in each of our categories. Each of those positions taking away prize money. The team prize is kicking in at the end of the month. Now, Hamden, Lopez, Tortoretta, Espino, Giuliano, all in this leading group. Mr. G in there as well. Simeo in here in Category 2. They go over the little spin round. So basically, it is an off ramp off the road they were on. It takes a left-hand turn. It sweeps up and over and brings the riders round. And the riders are really moving now. Bruce Bird, one of the riders who has been caught out on that climb. He's 28 seconds down on the leading group. He's got Mitch Ferry about 3 seconds behind. Then Bjarhed and Bjorklund, the Swedish duo, on the way down about 15 seconds further back. They really do need to push and find a group here because it's a long run into the climb. The next time we hit the main climb is at 26.1k. That's a further 12 kilometers down the road. So getting a group now will be advantageous to these riders. Bruce Bird really now pushing. He's got Mitch Ferry joining him. Will they wait, though? The 16, 17 seconds to the Bjarhed, Bjorklund, Brunn group has got riders like Panizza behind as well. Up in front, though, that gap is hovering around about 20 seconds, so they do have a chance to push on to the back of the main group. Phil Graves, Christoph Thiem just hovering around the back in the danger zone, but we're going to see if these two riders, it is possible to catch back, but it's going to take a big effort here by Mitch Ferry and Bruce Bird, two really strong riders. Well, we'll see if they're able to do so. They're going to have to do some serious work. Meanwhile, right-hand side of your screen, this is your Category 2 leader. It is going to be Zaid Hamden. Hamden, we have seen yo-yo. This man must be able to do the cat's cradle and everything when he's yo-yoing, because he has yo-yoed backwards, forwards, up, down. He's been at the front, the back, the front, the back. He's out the front again. And this time it's a 15-second lead.
I'm loving your knowledge of yo-yos.
That was it, though. There's no.
Okay.
Don't ask me anything else.
So, well, I can ask you questions about this bike race because for Jasin, Noren, Knudsen, X100, Van Els, there's a push on here. This push is a stretch, and you can see that stretch on the top right-hand corner of your screen. It's all concertinaing back together again, but they're starting to stretch the legs of this group on this Category 1 race field. It's whittled itself down again and again with riders just being dropped off the back, but it's still a really strong pack.
And some of the trigger for that is catching other riders. So what's happening is they're coming through, they're catching riders. The other thing that we're seeing is seeing them spiral around that little bit of a kicker. People who know the course, who know where to push, are pushing on. So the knowledge of this course is critical. That little rise and fall coming on the off-ramp is critical now. We're just taking a look back currently from Esteban at the moment, just looking back behind Esteban Pulgarin just at the moment in this group. He's got company Rodriguez and Nogueira just at the moment going to be in danger of being caught, and this has also caused problems. Stefan Van Els, look at this. He's up the pace here. He knows he's going to get a little bit of a shock. He's going to get some draft. He's gone for this, and Van Els is now pushing on at 8.1, and he's using the draft of the riders to give him, watch it go green, flicks green, goes black, flicks green, goes black. That all helped him on the way through. It gives him that little bit added extra impetus, and it means everyone behind is now scrambling once again.
Yeah, they're scrabbling once again, and there's now a couple of seconds back to Popovic and Knudsen. Safrazad is in there as well, but Van Els is continuing to push on those pedals. He's still sat at around 6 watts per kilo, but now starting to sit up as he's not seeing that big gap appear that I bet he would have wanted. It's still only 1 second, and X100, Safrazad and SS are the riders towing back to Van Els.
3 riders from the UAE clan team here really pushing on. In fact, there's 4 because Popovic is in that mix as well. So at the moment, Safrazad, Mr. X100, SS, Popovic, all continuing to push, all continuing to work to bring them through. And I think the word has gone out. Many of the teams will be riding using Discord, so that is the gaming and conversation platform. The messenger service that it uses very low data. It allows the riders to not slow down their processors and use competitors to not use lots of data and slow the game down by talking. So it allows for maximum race performance whilst being able to communicate, and they are talking to each other. Do you need to push now? Do we need to be at the front? Can we ease off? Are we clear for a bit? I'm having a bad time. Just knock the pace off. Just disrupt. All those tactics are going to be coming out simultaneously as these riders go through. So the leading group in Category 1 are on the way down the road and continuing to push.
So 15 Category 1 riders in this pack, with 4 Category 2 riders mixed in and taking a tow. So a large group still, so 19 riders in this group completely as they turn round this bend, and they are about to see a kick in front of them.
And this is the kicker, the first kicker as you come through, completed your first lap. As you go through, each time you're going to come around this turn, and this is where we saw that first selection made. And now Mr. X100 again, not wanting to be caught wrong side of a gap. He's on the push here, 7.8 watts per kilo, 7.9, 7.8. He can ride at a pace, and he's currently doing that, but the gradient increases to 9%. They're starting to close down with Van Els and Knudsen, aware of the strength of Mr. X100. Meanwhile, just taking a look, this is the man who's going to see them in his rear view mirror, Simon Acker. If he takes a look back behind him, oh, don't do that, mate. It's not a great sight. They're coming, and they are coming quick because they are strung out in a long line. There's no riding across the road. This is not a bunch of blob. This is a fast-moving, quickly rotating pack led by Michael Knudsen at the moment. And it's as Knudsen eases off that we start to see a little bit of compaction as they come together, but they are still 2-3 riders wide. If this eases off completely, expect them to be 5-6 riders wide, where at the moment, with that draft, with the pace, it's still moving quickly. It is still only 2 or 3 riders wide. They're onto this downhill dip as you come down and away, and at the moment, That pace picking up 58 kilometers an hour for our category 1 riders. In contrast, 11 kilometers, 10 kilometers an hour for our category 4 leaders on the road. And at the moment, they are just going over that bump, and you can just see as they come up and through, they are not far off hitting the climb for the second time. This is the last rise in the road, really, before you get in, and it is up over onto the bridge. So the bridge over the river now. The front of category 1 continues to push. Mr. X100 really is keeping them honest up at the front here. They are at 19.3k at the moment. They are only a matter of about 50-60 meters behind Simon Acker. He's going to see this group coming, and you can see that pack over his right shoulder, left-hand side of the screens at the moment. Acker is continuing to push. He's doing some big watts per kilo, but the riders that he distanced earlier, who he broke away from, are coming with this group, and they're going to close him down here. And that means that the positions that he fought for have been eliminated by those riders jumping in with the group, as we see the front of the pack continuing to push to go up this climb. They're going to keep on going up and over the top of this little rise, and this is where you can make a difference. Mr. X100 continuing to wind up. He eases off, and now Knudsen goes over the top. Knudsen going at 10 watts per kilo now, so Knudsen over the top, using the momentum. He knows there's a second step to this climb. Here it comes. Has he done enough damage? Is he going to break somebody else off this group? Knudsen has gone clear here, and he's being chased, and it's Vujasin who knows the danger of letting Knudsen go, who comes across him. So the line of Vujasin, Pablo Popovic, David Talbot, Stefan Van Es right at the front here. The back of this group are going to be in danger, because if a group of 5 or 6 riders go clear with this kind of quality, they are going to be incredibly hard to chase down.
Yeah, look at that chase behind. You can see on the top right-hand corner of your screen, the packs are really scrabbling now to close that gap to these riders, because you're right, Matt, these riders are absolutely world class, who are pushing on at the front here, and that gap is forming. The second and third groups on the road have come together. It's one big chasing group behind, but Theme is in here, Mel is in here, but they are having to work really hard to catch this group.
And Mr. X100 was on the front not all that long ago. Now he's at the back of that group. He can't afford to go any further back. He's got Zach Nair in front. Zach Nair riding nice and smoothly in that slipstream. He's been keeping out of trouble. So Mr. X100 comes through this group as they're about to make contact with the leaders in category 1. They're coming through. Zanaska it is in front of Mr. X100, who is leading the chase. And look at this, Johan Moreno could be the next rider who is being caught here. Johan Moreno is an absolute class act who we have seen taking top positions.
Yeah, so Moreno is going to be the next category 2 rider that see the front of this category 1 pack, as this category 1 pack all back together now, bar a few riders. You can just see a couple of riders still yet to make the catch there, still yet to make the juncture to this group. So this group riding really strongly and rolling really fast. That category 1 pack, Matt, moving at 54 kph.
They are, and what they're doing, they're on a descent. It very quickly changes to ascent, and you can see they're on that ascent now. They're coming up behind Moreno and this pack of category 2 riders, and this is a steep, nasty kicker. You go up, it drops down, it kicks again, going back up. You got a little drop, and then more rises coming through, and this rolling ground really breaks up the rhythm. It's so hard to ride this well, because you've got to be so flexible on your pedal cadence to keep kicking here. And another move goes. Nelson's gone again this time. He's gone over the top there. He's seen a big group, and he's going to go flying through them. He's going to get draft all the way through. And again, they're having to chase Michael Knudsen. So Michael Knudsen has gone on the offensive. Is he either on a super strong day, or Emma, is he on a bad day and disguising it well?
No, I think it's perfect tactics here, because when you're coming into a group the size of that category 2 group, the category 1 group we're in, it gets messy. Look at that behind, because the category 2 riders want to jump in with the category 1 riders, so they pick up their own pace. And look what's happened. Knudsen has gone, Moreno and Baltazar have followed him. There's complete confusion with the category 1 pack. Popovic is the next rider on the road. They are now all mixed together, and it's given Knudsen the opportunity opportunity to push on and move away. But it is just all over the shop at the moment. Look at that long snaking picture on the top right-hand corner of your screen. We've got all those Category 1 riders mixed with those Category 2 riders that they caught.
And the gaps behind, what's really key here, look at the top right hand side here. Nudson's gone clear at the front, and the key part of this is not just getting clear and doing the damage, but catching out other riders, because if you've got some of that Category 1 behind the Category 2 and the Category 2 cannot hold the wheel, the gap opens, and that's what forces the gap to open. Now they're going to come up here. This, I think, is going to be our leaders in Category 2, if I'm not much mistaken. I'm just going to take a little bit of a look, and Category 1 are coming up, and this is going to do more damage. So again, watch for what happens here. If this group comes together, what people don't want to do is be stuck behind Category 2 riders who just can't hold the wheel, because let's face it, you're Category 1, you're Category 2, holding the wheel at 1, very difficult to do. And look who's on the front, leading them in, Michael Knudsen. Again, smart riding to go in there, but the rest of the group are with him here, and they know they're not going to let this go.
Yeah, well, Matt, these Category 1 riders are smart cookies. They are well and truly experienced. A large number of these riders riding at the Esports World Championships last month, so they know exactly what they are doing. But it doesn't stop the fact that this is messy riding at the moment, because it's not just these 2 Category 2 packs they've caught. There are more riders down the road for them to catch.
There are so many riders out on course, but the leaders in Category 1 up to 28th overall, so 27 riders in front of them, predominantly now in Categories 4 and 3. But you've got Category 2 mixed in with them, and again, there's an ever-present danger that a gap will go and the wheel won't be held. And if you've raced on the road, on the track, you will know what it's like. You sit behind a rider, you think they're strong enough, they're holding the wheel, you don't notice the gap goes a little bit, you've then got to go over the top of the rider, so you've got to put the power to go over the top of that rider, and then you've got to put the power in to get across the gap. And that is absolutely brutal, and that is why nobody wants to get caught behind any kind of gap. The safest place to ride is up in the very front, but you've got to be strong enough to stay there. And on this terrain, that means getting the momentum, getting the feel, getting the drafting just right. And that's why the more you ride it and the more you go race, the better you're going to be. Now, Category 1, top left-hand side, they are currently at 24. Okay, they've got Category 2 leaders in there. You've got Category 3 leaders on the left-hand bottom side of your screen, and they are currently at just short of 28 kilometers. They are well on the way into the second stage of the climb for the second time. The leader of Category 4, right-hand side, Michael Suarez, well, he's got Datsun right with him. So we're going to have 3 and 4 together, and we are going to have 1 and 2 together in terms of categories together out on that road.
They are indeed, and the Category 3 and Category 4 leaders at the moment are on the second climb of Mount Pleasant. So Mount Pleasant, the Category 4 climb that the riders need to ascend 3 times in the race today. These leaders in Category 3 and 4 currently on the second time up that climb, pushing and fighting for that lead on the road.
And they need to continue to push and fight for that. That is for sure, because this is going to be absolutely key. Now we are on this long descent. It's not exactly smooth. It bumps up and down a little bit more than maybe the profile shows, but you can see coming top right hand side of your screen the road detail, the profile. You can see stage 1 of Mount Pleasant, the dip down, and then stage 2 with that steeper initial section of stage 2 coming up. It's not all that far away. Remember, the riders will hit that point at 26.1k, so just under 1 kilometer to the base of the second ascent of the climb. From the summit, they will have 1 full lap to get back to the summit top and to their race finish.
Well, look at this group, Matt. It's got Category 1, Category 2. I think I've seen a Category 3 and a Category 4 rider in it.
Get in there quick.
It is picking people up on the way, and it is rolling and taking a number of riders. I was just checking, the Category 3 rider is in there. I was right. It is indeed taking a group of riders from all categories down this road. So X100 is in here, Knudsen, Nair, Safrazad, Paradians, Van Elst, Popovic, Talbot. These riders have picked up the Kranich, they've picked up Shretting, they've picked up Ospina, Moreno, and Giuliano from category number 2, which was the leading race pack in that field. They've also picked up a category 3 rider and a category 4 rider as they now move past another category 4 rider who the group goes straight over the top of.
And here we go in to the base of the climb. We take this left-hand turn and the road starts to rise in front of the riders. It starts to pick up. It's very innocuous to start off with, but how long can those category 2 and category 3 riders stay in with that leading group? I'm going to put your money on it, not to the top of that first ascent, because I tell you something, if you wanted to take the win here, you are going to want to thin that group down. Now we're riding in with Phil Graves here, and this is the chasing group in pack 2. John Brood, Im Carroll, looks like Nicholas Van Haven in there, just trying to catch the names of Vidal Mayer in there, Bruce Bird. This is a strong group of category 1 riders who are now making the way around, but they are further down the course, and nearly 1k down on the race lead.
They are indeed, but they are working well together, and they've got a couple of category 2 riders in there as well. So as that group continue to work their way to the bottom of the climb, this is the climb, and we are on the lower slopes of Mount Pleasant. This is the first stage kicker before we drop and descend onto the main part. Now this gradient will kick to around 10%, but the second part kicks to over 17% as we see the yellow jerseys of those category 1 riders coming to the fore now. But those category 2 riders, Mr. G, Lopez, are working so hard to stay onto the back of this group for as long as possible.
Well, they're working well. Come on, guys. This is where it counts. This is stage 1. They've got to make it over here into that dip. If they can stay in that group, it'll take them onto the steeper slopes. In terms of category 1 riders, at the moment the group is together. It doesn't look like anybody's firing anything too early. Popovic looking smooth at the moment. You can just see those at Zanaska picking up the pace to 7.3, 7.2 watts per kilo. So Lucas Zanaska leading this race out here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club as they come to the top of stage 1, the part 1 of the 2-stage climb that is Mount Pleasant. He's going to lead over the top with Saeed Safrazad of the UAE clan team on his heels.
So as the Zanaska goes over the top of that climb, we've got a number of riders in this group. It's still a large group, more than 12 riders still in this group at last count. So pushing on here, Safrazad is in here, X100, Zanaska, Fawcett, Nair, Vujasin, SS, Popovic as the push goes continuing on the front on this descent.
So round that turn from that descent on to the second stage, this is the 17% plus part of the climb. This is where it really kicks. And if you want to break this group, if you want to smash it, now's the time to get your big hammer and really give it to the rest of the riders, because this is where it's going to count. Who's going to be in the confetti at the top when we come round next time? Well, you want to be in that fight for the win. You're going to need to be in the fight now, and it's Knudsen at the moment who is throwing down the punches because he's got Talbot on his wheels. And look at the chase coming now. Knudsen is pushing here at 8.5 watts per kilo. He knows that this is the most brutal part of the climb. He wants to do damage. He wants to test out these riders. But at the moment, he can't snap the elastic. He cannot break the group apart. And it is not fracturing in any substantial way. We're looking to see the first big gaps appear. And whilst they're strung out, they are not snapping completely. At the back, you can see this view from Mr. X100 looking forward. He's got Paradians and SS behind him, but the vast majority are in front. And you can see he's now chasing on. He's going over the shoulder of Johan Noren. Noren trying to answer this and to push and to keep in with this group. Remember, at the very top of this climb, the pack will pick up pace. The bigger groups will move faster. You want to be in that group. Solo riders can get brought back, but solo riders cannot come back on this descent, so you have to be in with the fight. Talbot, Popovic, Zanaska, the next riders in the sights, Mr. X100. And I'll tell you something, he's riding at that pace we see time and time again. There is a big kick. He gets distance. He pulls it back, and he's doing that to try and pull back these two riders at the moment. You got Lionel Vujassin with the white helmet. You got Michael Knudsen with the bald head there at the front. They're the two riders. You can see Knudsen at the front. Then it's Vujassin, second rider. Third rider in that line is Talbot. Then it's Safrazad. But these riders really are making the play here today, and they are the ones who are animating the action. The leading group breaking and about to come to the top of the climb. The chasing pack on the right-hand side of your screen, nowhere near them. They have really been distanced on this climb by this aggressive racing here. I can see 5 riders who are going to come over the top together, I think, here. Will it increase on the descent? We've got a little descent. We've got the second part of the summit, which is the point in front of these riders. And I think this leading group now, this is going to be a definitive break that will go clear. I think the maximum we are going to see is going to be 7 riders. It may well be 6.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens on this descent and who can catch back up onto the back of that group. SS at the moment is kicking out 8.6 watts per kilo because he's got a 4-second gap to close to X100 and the back of this leading group. So who is in here? Popovic, Safrazad is in here. We've got other riders in here as well. Knudsen, Talbot. These are the riders who are leading this group out. Vujassin is here as well. We're starting to see the small gaps close. X100 pushing on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 riders I've got at the moment. SS is the rider off the back now as X100 has closed it down. Zanaska is also in here. The next rider back is Noren. Noren's 16 seconds back off of this group now.
Yep, Noren with Van Elst are going to be the nearest riders to SS pretty shortly because that group is going to go away. There's no way that SS is going to close on that group unless the group back off the pace substantially. Now, his teammates are not going to be leading the charge down there because they will want SS with them. They'll want that extra firepower. They'll want to have their teammate in there, but equally, they cannot afford to let this gap go out too much. Because if they back off too much, what you find is that the group behind will close down. People like Noren more than capable of closing down if the pace eases. So, Mr. X100 in here with Talbot, Vujassin, Popovic. You've got Said Safrazad really in this mix. I think really interesting to see Zanaska mixing it up once again. Seen him on Sunday Race Club, putting some great rides. Surely he's got to be due a win. You can see that leading group though, left-hand side of your screen. The chaser, right-hand side, trying to come across that gap. It is SS, and at the moment, well, it's not looking like exactly like a huge gap. And it may well be that the disruption on the front of the team from the UAE is going to allow SS to come on to the back. He's absolutely putting everything into this. Come on, get in there. This is some ride.
Yeah, this is a massive push from SS. This is like his finish getting back onto this group. But I think SS is going to make this group of 7 riders at the front of this Category 1 race a group of 8 riders. Noren around 14 seconds back. Van Elst slightly a few seconds behind him. But we can just see as they're coming up onto the wheel of Kaluma, one of the early leaders in the Category 4 race, this group is now going to become 8.
Indeed, just coming up on Arago, in fact, just there on the screens just jumping about. Kaluma just up about 46 seconds down the road, in fact. Now, screens jumping about, which keeps things entertaining for us on the way through. So you can just see this is our leading group in the Category 1 race. They have just come up on Arago, who's tried to go with them. We're just taking a look just in front of those riders. And at the moment, you can see that Kamal Kath just continuing to push on in that Category 4. for competition. Got Kalangad in front. It's the leaders in Category 1 now very quickly up into what is, I think, 15th place on the road overall, and that means that they are really going to be pushing up towards, in fact, 14th position now held by the Category 1 riders. Round this left-hand kick now. This is a Knudsen speciality here, kicking off from this spiral turn. We've seen one rider go down the road. Who's it going to be?
It is Knudsen.
Oh, look at that. It is on one of his favourite spots. We know that he's going to wind it up there and put everybody else under pressure. That's a Vink Corner, that is known as, because that's where Michael Vink went clear to victory here. So Vink Corner is that left-hand spiral coming up and round, permanently known as that now. We're going to get it named on the course.
Well, whilst you arrange the nameplate for the side of the road, Talbot is pushing on here and trying to close this gap down. SS and Safrazad, Knudsen are the riders in front. Vujasin, Popovic and X100 are the riders chasing. It's an 8-rider group now. Noren is the one doing the chasing. Around 200 metres now from Noren to make the catch to that group of 8 leading riders in this Category 1 race.
So the chaser right-hand side of your screen's the race leader left-hand side of your screen, but he has been brought back once again. Vujasin's a NASCAR, and Talbot doing a lot of work there to pull back Michael Knudsen. Michael Knudsen, of course, riding for the UAE clan team. So if you think about this, you've got Mr. X100, Pablo Popovic, Michael Knudsen, Sai Safrazad, and SS from where? From the
UAE clan team.
And everybody else is going to be up against it because they know this course inside out. Now, Joy Kaluma is indeed about to get caught here on the way through, and clearly Emma was just ahead of the game as always on the way through. And I'll tell you something, working really well here to stay clear as they come in and through. They're just coming up on Caleb Ochoa.
Oh, sorry, I'm just watching Kaluma try and put some big digs in to pick up the pace to stay with this group. Kaluma's kicking at 5 watts, then dropping to 1.5, then kicking at 5, just trying to get enough momentum to hang on to the back of this group as it comes past. And Kaluma has done it, you know. Kaluma has managed to move up and to get the pace high enough to stay in this group. But Knudsen is pushing on again at the front, and Knudsen's kicked to 8 watts per kilo. I don't think Kaluma is going to be staying in this group for much more. But Knudsen moves on now. He is intent on pushing this group and pushing it forward. 8 riders is far too many for Michael Knudsen in this lead group at this stage of the race today.
Well, Michael Knudsen knows that the best way to win is to win solo. Is he going to be able to do so? Is he going to be able to break clear? This is a very innocuous piece, of course, to do so on. But what he is doing is putting the rest of the riders under pressure at the moment and keeping them working. And at some point, he's going to go clear. And remember, of course, if he continues to push, he is going to keep this group clear of Noren, but Noren is chasing hard.
Yeah, and talking about continuing to push, Noren has continued to push at 6 watts per kilo, and he's going to be rewarded for it shortly because that gap was out to 14 seconds. It's now down to 6. So Noren doing an outstanding job as he flies past that category 4 back marker, and very, very shortly he's going to see the back of that leading group of 8 riders, and absolutely well rewarded if he can make that catch.
Indeed, that'll be a great catch, but you can see Knudsen's gone down the road. Now, why would you chase him if you're a teammate? Of course you wouldn't. You just wouldn't do it. Do you know what? If one of my teammates chased me, they'd be getting a slap when he got back to the team bus. In fact, they'd probably be getting worse than that. They'd be walking home. Because I'll tell you something, you don't chase a teammate down, but you know what you do? You do keep the riders thinking that you're working. So it's a really fine line that you've got to walk. You've got to go hard enough to keep all the others from attacking you in the chasing group, but you've also not got to actually do as much work as the riders in front. Really difficult to do. Now, Michael Knudsen has gone. Are we going to see a bridge across to Knudsen here? I think that's a big ask. He's at 10 seconds here, and I think they're sensing weakness. Can they shed some more of the UAE clan team riders here. The UAE clan team are working really, really hard here, and they are trying to take away, I think, the top places here. They know that they're under. They know there's a lot of riders watching them to see how strong they are, and they have got some big names in here to challenge them this time around. Will they be able to hold off Talbot and Nasca? They are the riders who are going to want to challenge as they come in.
And Vujjasin as well. And Vujjasin is on some outstanding form at the moment. So these are 3 class riders mixed in with the UAE clan team at the moment. I'm not sure they're going to get dropped. I think this is going to come down to that final climb today.
But we've got a mountaintop finish. It means that there is no descent. There's no regroup. It is all about what you can do on stage 2 of that climb, because I think all of this group surely are strong enough to stay together on the first part of the climb, but the second part with that 17% is going to open up for a climber, but then it eases in the middle and then it kicks again.
Well, we've still got nearly 7 kilometres till we get to the base of Mount Pleasant for the final climb of the day. So there is still 7 kilometres for this group to stay together. And the way things are working at the moment with the stretch and the return, I'm not sure that's going to happen, as we see Knudsen go straight past 2 back markers in this category for Racefield. The leaders of that Racefield are further down the road, but not much further down the road, only about 25 seconds.
So Knudsen at the moment continuing to push his way up and through, currently into 11th position, and you can just see everybody is going to want to jump on to that train. They're not able to give him much of a tow on the way through. Be really interesting to see Knudsen's numbers here. Here we go. So Knudsen at 6 watts per kilo. He's in that 11th position. Really is working hard here, but the group behind, they are not easing off, but they are at 18 seconds now. 18 seconds.
They're not easing off, but they're not pushing the numbers that Knudsen is. Knudsen is sitting between 6 and 7 watts per kilo at the moment. Currently, Vujjasin is on the front of this group and pushing around 4, but I've just seen a 2.9 watts per kilo come out. So this group have sat up and are looking at each other and allowing Knudsen to continue to time trial his way off the front of the group and closer towards the finish.
And I'll tell you something, the UAE clan team are not doing much work here. You can see Zanaska up at the front being marked by Popovic, Talbot being marked by SS. They're almost marking them, and now Zanaska starts to push on. I've just seen 10 watts per kilo come from Zanaska. He's really started to kick as they've gone through there. He's trying to shed the shadows behind him, and this is a man that you cannot let go down the road. And look at Vujjasin go after him. The racing is on. This is it. This is going. He's gone for it. It is a Knudsen who's got the gap. So Knudsen with the gap. Vujjasin who's gone after him with Zanaska, but Vujjasin absorbed back in. They're now chasing Zanaska, who has got Knudsen in front, the only rider in front, and this is doing damage behind. I think we're going to start to see riders be distanced out of the chasing group. Lucas Zanaska now, man on a mission, and SS is coming after him. If they're man marking, Zanaska's got SS on his tail, I'll tell you that much.
Well, Talbot's got Popovic and Vujjasin's got X100, if that's the way that's going, Matt, because they all look as though they've got a mark today. So Zanaska now being reeled back in by SS and Popovic.
And behind, the riders are being distanced. That group has been whittled down. There are only about 3 or 4 riders left in that chasing group. Behind Knudsen, it has exploded everywhere. And it is going to be Talbot, Vujjasin and Zanaska right in there, and it's Saeed Safrazad who's been distanced here. But look at this, Noren has gone over the top of him. So Saeed Safrazad, if I'm not much mistaken, he's won on the top of this climb before.
Yeah, I think you are correct, Matt, but now in trouble. Noren has gone over the top, and Noren still with around 8 seconds onto that lead group of Talbot, and the more attacks that come out of that lead group, the more trouble Noren and Safrazad are going to have getting back on. If that group stop attacking each other and lead Knudsen down the road, Safrazad and Noren are going to make the catch.
Catch 22 in that middle group. then all you can do is keep pushing and hoping, but you can just see Safrazad now is going to come past Noren and going to need a little bit of assistance, I think, to come back on, and I think they could well make this. It's only a few seconds. Safrazad's using the momentum as they go down the dip to try and come on to the back of the riders, but they may well crest the summit of this little kicker before he gets there, which will then allow the gap to go out, which it is. This is really desperate stuff here for Saeed Safrazad. He's got to try and go across. He's having to dance to the tune that is being set by Michael Knudsen. He's the man who's composing all the right notes in all the right order at the moment, because Knudsen is continuing to push. Behind him, Vujasin is being frustrated by Popovic, and it looks to me like Knudsen is going to come into our climb at some pace. He hits the base of the climb at 42.6k. He has still got some serious distance to do, but we know that if he's given his head, he has the ability to solo to the finish. He's got 17 seconds. The Nazca is after him. It's so tight. It's yo-yoing up and down by a second or two, but they are really pushing here. And I'll tell you something, Lucas Danaska wants this today.
He does indeed. He doesn't want to take this group into the climb. 8 riders with Knudsen off the front. So Knudsen in 1, 7 riders chasing. And that race group behind really wants the 1, 2, 3, 4. They do not want to take all of those 7 riders in the chase group into the bottom of that climb together. And at the moment, it's Tolbert and Vujasin who are on the front of that group. It's all coming back together again because it's been Zanaska that has been repeatedly attacking it.
Well, let's see who's going to go now. Tolbert comes up to the front. He's going to need to dose his effort carefully. It's not a name that we've seen at the front of the racing here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club regularly, but he's somebody who we know has the ability to be right up in the mix at the finish. Will he be able to spring clear up this climb? This climb is tough. It is steep. It is not an even gradient. You've got the descent in there as well. Being able to ride it is going to be key to saving your energy for that steep section, but you can't give away time anywhere on this course. Now, our leader, right hand side of your screen, goes over the hour mark. We've been racing for over 1 hour now. We're approaching the 40-kilometer marker. So these riders traveling, if you work in imperial measurements, that is at about 25 miles an hour on average. That includes the climb of Mount Pleasant twice, and we're about to go up it for a 3rd time.
Yeah, we are about to go up it for the 3rd time, and at the top of that category 4 climb this time round, the riders will see the checkered flag mat. And who is going to see it first? Is Knudsen going to break away, going to stick? Is Knudsen going? Oh, look at that! You're jumping in there quickly. But Knudsen's got a 17-second gap at the moment. Vujasin is the one doing the chase at the moment, and Vujasin is pushing on with Popovic trying to close that down. We are really starting to see this start to shake itself out in these final 5k.
Yeah, the riders are going to have to shake it out, and this is really interesting for me. Knudsen may be a foregone conclusion, may not be. I know I sounded all really confident there, but knowing Knudsen's ability, knowing the terrain, I think he's done this. He knows how much effort he needs to have less. Even if he's caught, he will have given it absolutely everything, and I don't think he'll be regretting going where he did. He's doing this. He's a measured athlete. He knows what he's up to. He's ridden the platform enough. He knows this course. However, the group behind are going to be all over the place. You've got riders who know the course, riders who don't. You've got riders who know how the platform rides. You've got riders who don't, and that is going to make a huge difference. Now, Michael Knudsen is really interesting. Look at his heart rate, 191. His revs, 79 revs per minute at that pedal cadence. He kicks up over the top of this bridgeway here, which is the last significant rise before you go into the climb. He's absolutely rocketing. And let's say this in now and just jump in before we get to the full-on race action at the finish. Catching latch riders, not a bad thing, because remember, all our riders come in as first category riders when they first join. So to be lapped by Michael Knudsen is not anything to be worried about, is it?
Oh, goodness me, no. And it's not just our new riders who join at Category 1. Also, we've got Category 1 regulars who may just be having an easy ride. You know, they're here for verification and qualification to the final. Not everybody wants to race every race full bore.
Really? I do everything full bore.
Well, you know. Anyway, I think the
That's
person
probably why I
doing
get
it
injured so
well,
much.
the person doing it full bore today is Michael Knudsen on the front here. It's a really strong managed effort, and his heart rate has only ticked up 1 beat per minute in the last 5 minutes. So this is a measured effort on the front here from Knudsen as we move into the final stages of this race today.
I'll tell you something, Knudsen's going to come across that line first. He's going to come across the line first overall as well, because that's a big gap to Parisi, but look at the speed of Knudsen at the moment. So you've got the riders, there's what, 0.6 of a difference in gradient, 0.5 between them. He's absolutely flying. He's got one mission: ride as fast as he can. He doesn't need to think about anyone else. He doesn't need to worry about anybody else. He doesn't need to think about beating anyone. All he needs to do is keep that pedal action smooth, keep moving those feet over the pedals, keep the ankle in action right, making sure he's breathing right. Just keep 100% focused on going. These guys are going to be looking at who's going to do what. Are they going to jump? Are they going to move? Is it going to be an attack? Is there not going to be an attack? Where are they going to go? How much have I got left? Do I need to eat? All these things are intruding on this group. They're pressing in on this group, and that is not going to help them go fast.
Well,
look at the numbers.
I think this group have decided they're riding for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th mat at the moment, because they are putting in a lot of recovery, around 2.5 watts per kilo for some of the riders in that group coming out at the moment. It does mean one thing: they got a long range on that final climb, and they can push really hard. And some of those riders I've seen kick at 12% at the top of that climb.
Well, going to be really interesting to see how they do that, because they are going to. We see this time and time again. We see it on Rise. We see it on all sorts of events. If you leave the explosive moment to as late as possible, that basically you just got more stored up ammunition. You can basically fire that all off. So instead of firing off one firework every minute for 4 hours, you can let it all go in one big bang in about 4 seconds. And I think that, to be honest, that's what's happening with that group. They are waiting, and they are going to light the touch paper when they come to that key last climb. Knudsen, he's on a slow, well, fast burn, but he's on a steady burn. He has gone out, and he's absolutely pushing. He's in 5th place at the moment, and all parts of Juan Gil, who is on his heels here on stage 1 of the climb. He is trying. So our leader on to the first part of the climb. The second set of riders, being led by Pablo Popovic at the moment, are also on to the climb. Now, because they're on the climb, they're traveling in relatively slower. That means that the distance between the riders physically, in terms of distance, will have dropped, even though the time gap is staying out at 40. I'll repeat that, 40 seconds. Now comes the group. Now, we know Knudsen's on his own. We know he's not going to get caught too quickly, even if he does get caught. However, this is about who can stay with this leading group. Popovic on the back with Mr. X100. Tolbert with Vjasin and Zanaska on the front, pushing on. Who's going to go with them? Said Safrazad looks like he's pushed right up over the top here. And Noren is 4 seconds down on this group at the moment.
What a ride from Noren to close that gap down to 4 seconds to the base of that climb.
But he's not going to get there, is he? He got within touching distance, and Tolbert now on the front is winding it up. So left-hand side, David Tolbert really pushing here. Said Safrazad has marked him, though, as Zanaska and Vjasin are there, and it's Tolbert and Zanaska who are doing the damage on the front on this particular part of the climb. Remember, Tolbert new to riding this as part of Sunday Race Club. Doesn't mean he hasn't been out wrecking the course. All good pros wrecking the course if they got the chance. That's the great thing about esports. You can ride it over and over again. Now, Mr. X100, the back of this group, are we going to see him use that momentum with Popovic to make the most of it? It's Vjasin who's going to lead them down into the descent. He's got a little bit of a gap here, but look at that group behind. I think they're going to sweep him up as Knudsen is on the steepest part of the climb for the final
Well,
time.
and while Knudsen is on the steepest part of the climb for the final time, Parisi in that Category 3 race is only 500 metres from the finish line. So Parisi is moving towards, he can't see it yet, but around that bend, the finish line is coming for Parisi. So coming up to 400 metres to go for Parisi, the leader in that Category 3 race. At 650 metres to go, it's Michael Knudsen, who's currently the leader in that Category 1 race. So we've got a real ride on here, Matt, for who comes across that line first.
So will it be Parisi? Will it be Knudsen? Can Knudsen close him down? I tell you something, Parisi's climbing really well. Look at the revs, 90 revs per minute. He's absolutely giving it everything. He's lapping riders on his way through. So the riders you see, remember this is a lapped race. We are coming around. We've done 2 ascents of this mountain already. Some of these riders are on their second, as our leaders are on their third. Knudsen is pushing here to try and close down Parisi, but I might have to eat one of my fantastic baseball caps, because at the moment it looks to me like Parisi is going to make this. He's got 100 meters to go, so let's see who is going to take this as he comes up. I think it is going to be Parisi who's going to make it. It's Kusamato, then Luis Ruiz behind, and then it is Knudsen. Wow, this is going to get close.
It is indeed. As Parisi kicks, he can see that line, but boy, is that gradient still steep. It's still 12%. He can see the riders behind him and they are still coming, but Parisi continues to push on those pedals, continues to push around that right-hand bend that's going to take him to the finish line, as Parisi is rewarded today by the win in the Category 3 race and first rider over the line on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club.
So this is the battle for second place. It's between Ruiz and Cusimano. They're going to come in next, but look at this. This is Michael Knudsen. So Ruiz is going to lead Cusimano through in second and third place in category number 3, but it's going to be Michael Knudsen who takes the win in category number 1. What's happening behind? Here they come.
It's Popovic and Safrazad is what's happening behind, and Safrazad and Popovic have pushed on up the climb behind Knudsen. Safrazad is going to come over in 2. Popovic, it looks like, is going to come over in 3. There's a chase on behind with Vujasin and Zanaska and X100. It's SS and Tolbert who are behind.
So look at this, Vujasin and Zanaska are going to take away what is going to be a 4th and 5th place, I think, here today. We're just going to take a double check here. So Knudsen, Popovic, Vujasin, Zanaska, Mr. X100 on the way through there. So those are the top of 5 positions.
They are indeed, and first rider over the line today was indeed Parisi in that Category 3 race, followed by Ruiz and Cusimano, Gill and Dadson, the top 5 in Category 3.
So don't forget, all of the results at the moment are unofficial until all of our riders are verified, at which point the results will become official and you'll be able to catch up with them on the MyWhoosh.com website. So Knudsen taking the win, not quite able to catch Parisi on the way in and through. Great result there by the UAE clan team, who are going to take away the top team spot there. No prizes for that, but lots of pride, I am sure. It's been great watching the action, Emma, and another great race in Australia. Where can we catch up with you?
Yeah, you can find me, please do, at Biking Emma on Instagram or Full Speed Events. Get in touch and let us know what you're up to.
So you can find me, it's at Matt Fakes a Pain, and it's been, as always, a pleasure putting words to the action. Got to say a massive thank you to our riders who have really entertained us, to all of our team behind the scenes at MyWhoosh, who have been bringing us all of the pictures and making sure that we get the best action to you and to you for watching. So from me, Matt Payne, from Emma and all of the team at MyWhoosh, stay safe. We'll see you again next week for Qualifier Race number 2. Bye-bye.